Oh baby, it is windy out here today, which is gonna make filming incredibly tricky, which is annoying because I have lots of stuff to show you. I'm gonna hide in the doorway, but it's been a slow week this week for work. I have, however, worked a full day without the camera, and I got loads of stuff done, and I wanted to show you. And I was gonna take you around the place and show you everything I've done, but I think it's too windy to be able to record sound. So I'm gonna stand in the doorway and I'm gonna show you some pictures of what I did. So first up, I cleared out the space where the firewood was. I moved all the firewood over to just in front of my door. It's just in a little pile. I have enough to keep me going until the end of the coldness. I think it's pretty much gone. I haven't had the fire on in a few days, although it was pretty cold last night, so I might put it on tonight. So I've got a small supply and that'll keep me going. I've also dragged the pallets that I used for the fire holding area, and I've taken them down to my third terrace. They're just in a pile down there at the moment, but that's going to be where I put my future firewood store, and then I'm going to store it until the winter so that I don't have to worry about whether or not this firewood is dry. It'll be ready to go in November when I start to fire up the wood burner again. Trying to plan ahead. I also cleared out a space for the tool shed. I moved the bricks away, and instead of trying to visualize the size and location of this tool shed, which I was really struggling with, I decided to move the scaffolding over to the space and to use that as sort of a gauge for the height and the size of the tool shed. I'm going to go a little bit bigger than the scaffolding, but having the scaffolding there has really helped me visualize the space, and it's been incredibly useful. From that, I kind of took some measurements. I've got a rough idea of the size. I've got the basic drawings. I think it's going to fit well in the space. My only concern is one branch of the fig tree. I definitely don't want to cut it off, but I do want an overhang on my roof, so that might complicate where I locate the shed so I can avoid the branch. I also, because I have loads of buckets of lime in my way, I wanted to get through some of those. So I ended up doing some plastering in the shower, which, since it's inside, let's just go take a look at that. So I have plastered over the weird sort of stripey bit that I had. I've tried to round the corner to be similar to this, and I'm really happy with how it's going. I'll have to build this out quite a bit more still, but it's flat-ish. And I've also spanded the corner and filled in the space that I sort of had in the corner there, so it's roughly flat as well. This work behind me plastering this small section of the shower actually took up about 2 full buckets of the lime that I have outside, so I am a little concerned that maybe I don't have as much lime as I think I do, that it'll go a lot quicker than I expect. So I should pick up another big 40-kilo bag of Calviva and get that slaking sooner rather than later, so that by the time I start building the stone foundation out there, I have plenty of lime on the go. But I'm happy with this. It was enjoyable. I just like to stick podcasts on, listen to them, hang out inside, and plastering is extremely fun for me. I will film plastering this because I do like to share it. It makes the most amazing sounds. So that's basically what I've done. Oh, and one more thing. Let's go look at the babies, and hopefully the polytunnel isn't a wind tunnel. Hello! How are you doing, babies? So as you can maybe see, I've been pretty busy repotting some of these little guys. And I also did sort of a bad thing. I said I wasn't going to plant anything else, but I did another pot of coriander because I love it. And I did more sunflowers because I didn't have many of them take. And I really want lots of sunflowers. I've got 5 or 6, 7 on the go, and I want way more than that because I love them so much. So what do we have here? The cucumbers are looking super happy. I've got 3 different varieties. All of them are for pickling, so they're a little smaller than usual. I've got some dinosaur kale on the go, which I really enjoy. I've got the sunflowers. And very excitingly, I have some peppers finally making an appearance. And the jalapenos for me are the most important because I pickle them and I barter with them. And people really love them. They're super expensive in the shops, and so it's a great product to be able to make, and it doesn't seem like anyone else around here makes it. So It's really a nice thing. It's in demand. People love it. And I've got lots of lettuces. The coriander over here is looking really nice, and the basil's coming up. No sign of the oregano. I have never germinated oregano in my life. I don't believe it's actually a seed. And what else have we got here? And some peppers over here that don't look like anything's happening just yet. But besides the oregano, got some thyme coming. I feel confident in everything else. Peppers tend to be a little slow, so I'm very excited to see the jalapenos and something called a unique pepper, which I've never heard of. Don't even know why I have the seeds. My plan for today's video is to blitz the garden. It is an absolute jungle down there, but I am excited because it's one of those things that I'm definitely going to see an improvement very quickly just with a little bit of work. I mean, it will be nice to be able to actually walk on the path. Definite improvement. So if I can clear a path or two so I can actually traverse from one side of the garden to the other, I'm going to call that a win. Before I go down, I'm going to give these plant babies a drink. I might also talk you through my tool shed. I've got some drawings. I'll show you those. So let me water these and I'll check in again from the tool shed drawings. And so I have some very exciting news about Mikey. I don't think he likes it in here. Okay. Ah! He doesn't seem as excited as me. But he's now an official member of my family. I have adopted him. His mother has decided that she's not really able to take care of him because she's going to be in the UK quite a bit. And so now Mikey is officially a member of the family. So that's super exciting. I really do love him. He's adorable. And I knew I was going to get a cat anyway, and I might as well take this little guy in. He is a great cat. He doesn't cause any problems. He's very cuddly, and he's just a cool little dude. So I have a new member of the family. Very exciting, and yeah, I guess I'm a cat owner. Sooner than expected, but I'm really excited to have Mikey as part of the family. Are you excited to have a new mom? Are you? Are you excited? Are you excited? As long as I get my food and my cuddles, it's all good. I think you like it here. Yeah. Welcome to the family. I'm happy to have you. Okay, here's a quick walkthrough on the tool shed. Hopefully it's not too gloomy in here to do this. I'd rather do it outside, but you know, the wind. So here's kind of an idea of what I'm thinking. The house would be kind of over here. This would be where the scaffolding is. I would love to have sort of a lean-to coming off the side, maybe for wood storage, and another lean-to off the other side, possibly as an outhouse, a temporary outhouse, or possibly eventually as just either a laundry room or a freezer room. I feel like my initial plan was to have a freezer on one side and a washing machine on the other side, but I like the idea of having a wall with nothing on it, and maybe like the freezer or washing machine on one side, so that I can then have a extra space for tools. Wall storage is going to be very important for storing the tools, and the whole point of this, at least right now, is for tool storage. Eventually, I'd like to just have this as a utility room and have sort of a workshop tool storage somewhere else, possibly shared with Sinead, but for the moment, that's what I'm thinking. And then this is kind of a front version of it. This is sort of the stick frame, giving me an idea of the timbers that I would need. And just to give you an idea, this would be kind of a dead space, which maybe could also be firewood storage, and then there'd be the water tank, and then the house is kind of sort of right there. This was me figuring out how steep a roof I need. The tiles, I'm going to use tiles for the roof. They require a 35-degree incline, and then based on a 3-meter long shed, which I think it might actually be a little smaller than that, this gives me the rise and the run for the rafters and the height that I need. So as you can probably see, this isn't too far off of my original design. This is sort of, I guess, what I would use to know the timbers I need. So it's a breakdown of the side, the front. I actually did this quite a while ago, but I think it'll end up being fairly similar. And then that's what allowed me to order the wood. So I hope it's pretty similar because I've already ordered the wood for this. I'm not going to do a floor made of wood. I think I'm going to attempt to just have it as stone on the inside. Not granite, maybe schist, or maybe you get those little square things that are used for driveways. Maybe I'll do that. I just feel like it'll be neat. It'll look cool, and it'll be less maintenance maybe than wood. Plus it allows me to lower the level of the floor down a bit. If I put wood, it'll be floating above the stone foundation, and then that'll make the whole thing maybe a little higher than I want it to be. And yeah, the stone foundation, that's what I'm going to be working on hopefully this month. It's going to be a huge amount of work. Building the stone wall is very enjoyable. The tricky part is going to be running pipes. I'm going to want to run a pipe under the ground for a future washing machine. I'm going to have the gray water from my shower in the house coming somehow under here. I'm going to have rainwater collection coming under here, and it's all going to spit out at the terrace, and then that'll allow me to figure out what I'm going to do from there. But I need to run the pipes before I do any of the actual construction. So that's going to be a massive job. So that's my tool shed idea. It's going to be made of Douglas fir. I already have the wood that I need, most of it, probably too much actually. And I'm going to get started on that at some point in hopefully the not too distant future. But I'll go into the tool shed in way more detail later on once I get started on the foundation. I'll have drawings, I'll have a cut list, I'll have detailed pictures of all the joins and things, and I'm really excited to share that with you because timber framing is awesome. But now it seems like the wind has kind of died down a bit. I want to get into the garden, but before I do, I had an idea for how to make garden beds, so let me show you that. So my garden beds they're raised, but they don't have any walls on them. I was trying to build walls out of stone, but that's super labor intensive, and I don't have stones, or enough stones. So what I did as an experiment was I got the old chainsaw out, and I sawed these crappy telegraph poles in half lengthways, and I think I'm going to use these, one on top of the other, as frames for the garden. And the beauty with these telegraph poles is that they were free. They were crappy and rotten, and I didn't really know what I was going to do with them. I kind of didn't even really want to take them, but they were free, I was there, and I figured I'd find a use. The poisonous part of the telegraph poles with all the treatment, that'll be facing outward away from the garden, and I have an idea for how I can fasten it all together as well. So I need to figure out how to sharpen my chainsaw first, and then I'm going to get to work on that, and then I'll see if I can go get some more. And if I could line my entire garden with these things, I think it would look really nice. It's a great way to use a waste material, especially if I can get them for free. Okay, let's go do some garden stuff. Actually, no, I'm too scared right now. Let's try to walk through the garden on the way to do some tree stuff. It's a jungle down there. Let's go. So at least I can still sort of see these stairs. That's a good sign because the stairs on the next level are no longer visible, so it's kind of anyone's guess about what happens down there. I'm just going to take a leap of faith. No, I'm actually going to go this way. So this has become my dumping ground for crap I don't know what to do with. I definitely want to sort this out sooner rather than later. This is my other lime tree. I would love to get that thing in the ground. It seems to grow very baby limes, but they never really get past that small stage, so I think it wants to be in the soil. I've turned on the tap for this tank here, and this connects to my irrigation for my trees on the bottom terrace, and that's where we're going to go right now. If I can get there without falling over, or falling into a hole, killing myself, twisting my ankle. I definitely need to get this place trimmed. I'm really hoping to have a strimmer fairly soon. Since I have all the batteries and stuff for Makita tools, Sinead and I were thinking about sharing a double battery Makita electric strimmer. I've heard mixed reviews about electric strimmers, so if anybody out there knows anything about whether they're super crappy, super good, whatever, I would love to know. It seems like such a waste to get a petrol strimmer when I just have the batteries all there and I can charge it with my solar. And I feel like a double battery strimmer will be beefy enough to get through this stuff. I don't have any like brutal brambles or anything, and it's just a lot of grass. So do let me know your opinions on those. If anyone has a double battery electric strimmer by Makita, please do let me know what you think of it. So the reason I'm down on this terrace is to water the trees down here by hand. This terrace is piped from the cistern at the top that's covered in lilies. I've unplugged the plug that's up there, and I came down here to turn the tap on, but the little plug thing was broken, so I had to go get a new one. I'll fasten that on, and I'll give these trees a little bit of a water by hand. I don't have these ones set up to irrigation yet. One day I might, but there's only 3 here. There's only an almond, an apple, and a neem tree that I want to water, and I'll give a little squirt to the compost pile as well. I had some other trees, but they have perished. So I'll give them a drink, and then I'll head down to the bottom terrace and show you my irrigation. That should be coming out a lot more than that. Maybe it's blocked. I haven't actually used these in a long time, basically all winter, but sometimes they do get clogged with things. Come on. Come on. This water should really be firing out of there super fast. The pipes are quite large and there's a lot of water in that tank up there. So this is mildly concerning. Let's go check the one on the bottom terrace and see what's happening. No idea what that thing is. It's a monster. It's definitely not a plant I want there. Now I've got a forest of mint, and in amongst this, these are the pipes that go between each of my terraces. They were here when I bought the land, which I'm quite happy for. Okay, let's see what's happening here. That's more like it. So I'm gonna water my pear tree and my lime tree, which aren't yet set up with the irrigation, and then I'll show you the irrigation after that. But first, I have to find the hose. Here it is. Where's the end? Are you the end? You're the end. So there's quite a good flow out of this hose, and I'm really happy to have that tank up there set up with all these pipes. This guy hasn't had a drink for a while, so I'll leave this on for a bit. Got some weeds. I also have comfrey down here, which I totally forgot about. This is an amazing plant for bringing nutrients up to the top level of the soil. And eventually I'd love to have what's called a guild around every tree. So sort of a round section of soil with plants that are beneficial for the tree. And comfrey is a good one to have. This grows really big, and it's good to take the leaves off and chop them and drop them around the tree, or you can make what's called a comfrey tea that makes a really nice fertilizer as well. All right, let's go to the pear tree. So this pear tree is sort of neglected by me, but it seems to be happy. I need to get this on the irrigation along with the lime. The irrigation I set up was more of a test, and it does seem to be working. So now I'll hopefully find the time before the summer to refine the whole system and get this guy on the water. So this long grass is not good. I know that it's tick season right now, so I'm gonna have to check myself really well when I head up to the top. The cat has tick medication, he's been fine, but I need to check myself. No tick medication for me. So in here somewhere is a pipe and this little red nozzle. Where are you, little red nozzle? Here it is. So you can see that, maybe. Ah, so much grass. I really need to pull this stuff out, but not today. Today's just for watering. So you can see the water dripping out of that little nozzle there. These things do get blocked fairly easily, but when I turn on the tank at the top, I basically just go around each tree and give them a check. This is my apple tree. This thing has grown incredibly quickly. When I bought it, it was maybe just a meter, even under a meter high a couple years ago. It's given me 2 apples that were kind of weird looking, but it looks happy. There's lots of flowers on there, so that's cool. And this pear tree looks happy as well. It's getting tall. I don't know. It's kind of growing in 2D. It's sort of a weird one. So hopefully that thing flushes out, but lovely flowers. And let's see. what the irrigation is doing on this one. So the water on this one is coming up fairly slowly. I'm gonna tinker around with that one a little bit and then check the rest of them, and then I'll head up to the garden and get started on that. But this is my irrigation. Actually, let me take you on a little tour of the trees. This, I believe, is one of those smashed peach trees, I think. This is a clementine or tangerine tree of some kind. It's already given me fruit. This one is, I think, a regular peach tree. And this one is what's called a nashi, which is a Japanese pear. Beautiful flowers. This one is growing sideways, sort of, so I need to, before it's too late, try to tie it back and have it grow straight. I'll probably just tie it to something soft on the tree and then a piece of rope, and then I'll put a brick down there. So let me check my irrigation and I will check back in very soon. Oh, I forgot about this terrace watering. So there was a tap on down at the bottom that might have been taking some of the pressure away from this one. Let's see if this works. Well, it's definitely happier than it was before. It's looking pretty brown and gunky, but let's put this on and give these trees a water. When this thing broke, it broke off inside, so I have to do some surgery on this thing, get some pliers out and try to remove that gray piece in the middle. But first, I'm gonna have some lunch, and I'm gonna psych myself up for dealing with the abomination that is the Garden of Doom. I am very, very scared. I don't even know where I'll start, but I'll have some lunch and formulate a plan. So lunch has been eaten. I've done some surgery on that pipe down below, watered those trees, and I've done a bunch of video work and some stuff in the house. And I think I've waited out the wind. It seems a lot less windy now. So though I've been procrastinating for several hours, it's about 5 p.m. now. The weather is perfect. It was a little hot earlier, and I think I'm ready to have a go at this garden. So let's go see what's in store down there. I'm not going to try to do too much today. It's late in the day. I've already done a lot of work. So what I'm going to try to accomplish is clearing out this path, starting on the beginning of this garden bed. And I'd also like to clear this bed out, which used to be a blueberry patch. Now it is a nothing patch. I'd really love to plant my lime tree in the middle of this, change this from a triangle to a circle, and just have it as a tree with a small little garden bed around it. So the lime tree is in a massive pot and it's going to be super heavy to move, so I can't do it on my own. But fortunately, I have a friend visiting tomorrow for 3 days. She's coming to look at a piece of land near to here. And while she's here, I'm hoping she can spend a little bit of time with me on my land, and I'm hoping we can get this lime tree planted together. Most of the weekend we have planned is social activities, but there should be a little bit of time in the land, and this is the one job I would love to get done, and I need an extra set of hands to do that. So I would really like to clean out this patch in preparation for the lime tree. But before I mess around with any of this stuff out here by the entrance, I'm gonna go check on my chili plants. I wrapped them up at the beginning of winter in these little ghost-like packages with fabric that should protect them from the cold. I think it did, but I haven't watered these things since the beginning of winter. It has rained a whole bunch, but there's been loads of dry spells, so I don't have a lot of faith that any of these chili plants are still alive. So let's go check on them, unwrap them from their little fabric-y casings, and maybe one or two might have survived, but I really don't think so. I have peeked on a few here and there, and it doesn't look good. So let's go investigate the situation. not looking great. I do see some evidence of green down there, but not a lot of life in that guy. What about this guy? Definitely not. What about you? It's a stick. Oh man, I spent a lot of time wrapping these up, so I really wish I would have cared for them better. A hard lesson has been learned here today. Come on, little guy. What about you? I'm feeling lucky. Ah, this one's alive. Come on. Yeah, look. So that's got some life in it. I'll need to give him a prune, but that's amazing and positive news. I think it's because this part here of my land has a lot of water running as an overflow from the tank that's over there beyond the foliage. So it definitely is a case of me not watering them, which is sad. So that's like 1 for 5 over in that bed. Not great odds. I've got 5 more plants over here. Let's see how they're doing. Signs of life. Yes. Sweet. Let's see if there's any more survivors. We have a survivor! Oh, another one. Okay. So I don't know what's happening in this bed that wasn't happening in the other one. But things are looking good. Things are looking up. Holy smokes, it's crazy in here. I see leaves. No leaves, but there's some evidence of green, so I'm hopeful. And this guy as well, no sign of leaves, but definitely greenness. So I'm probably gonna give these guys a drink later on tonight and then give them a prune maybe next week when I have more time. So this bed, a lot more successful than the carnage of the other bed, but I'm really happy to see that these have sprung back to life, because last year the plants that I overwintered really gave me a lot more peppers than the other plants. So that's good news, because I really want a lot of jalapeno peppers so I can make lots of jars of pickled jalapenos. Okay, let's go back to the beginning and clear some path. I already gave this patch of land a nice soaking earlier this afternoon in the hopes it'll be easier to pull this stuff out. So I'll give it another little bit of a wet, and then I'll tackle this mess. All right, let's get to work. I am not in the mood for this tonight. This kind of sucks. Loads of people have mentioned in the comments to do the garden in short spurts, and I definitely think that's the way to go. So I'm gonna show you what I've done. I've liberated a whole bunch of strawberries from their weedy prisons. I haven't yet uncovered the asparagus. The kiwi plant has been liberated as well, and I've cleared the bed for the lime tree. So I'm happy with that. I'm gonna call it on work, and I'm gonna call it on this video. It's been a weird day where I've mostly talked you through stuff, but I hope you enjoyed it. I did get a lot of work done yesterday, and I wanted to share that with you. So as always, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, leave a comment, or if you just want to say hello. And I'll see you in the next video.